All right, Eve, speak your mind.
I just don't see the point in mentally doing this if you're still not going to value our opinions when you've been sitting
Okay.
on your feelings of not wanting to
Yeah.
choose Viv for 5 days and you can't be honest with us or at least the rest of the cabinet and just Tilly, and it still
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Um, I think it does. I think, listen, your feelings are valid, right?
I don't care
Um,
about my feelings, I care about my
but,
opinion.
yeah, okay. But, we'll call it an opinion, call it a feeling. But, um, I can't help but you have to understand that what I've been telling Tilly is something that I've been feeling very internally. It's not something that and I think I've voiced some of those concerns in the meetings. Now, did I voice those opinions more openly with Tilly? Well, ended my day. Absolutely. But I think if you gotta understand that, in the evening it's me and Tilly, right? It's not like these things were intentionally held from you. They're just it could have been Tilly, it could have been Lang, it could have been anybody, right? And Tilly just happens to be in the cabinet. Now, they were voiced and they weren't like held from you, but I think those internal thoughts slowly became a little bit more vocalized, and most of it kind of came to fruition after I did speak with a good cop leaving for the marshals. I think that's where the dooming in my head uh, got higher. So I do understand where you're coming from, but that's exactly why I wanted you here to have a chat with him. I think if your opinions weren't considered or valid, well, this meeting wouldn't have happened, right? Not
Okay,
giving
then
you an
how does
opportunity to not only speak to him, but also brought this up to you to begin with. I would have just made
then
the
how
decision.
does how does your vision of chief of police going from you don't want a yes man like Barrett, but like Barrick,
Mm,
go from Tyler is exactly gonna be that yes man. He's saying everything you want to hear,
yeah.
and he's going to be another Barrick. He's going to choose a strong Ruby as his ass chief, and we're just repeating everything that Max did.
And that's why we're having this conversation, right? And
Yeah, but
so
I still feel like your mind
I
is made up. So why
I
are we
don't think
doing
it's made
this?
up. I think you might be thinking that.
Well, I do because if you're just here, you know, jerking the chain, then I'm not going to be really happy about it.
Eve, we wouldn't be having this conversation if a decision was already made. I would have walked into the. I mean, you've worked with me long enough. If I make a decision, the decision's made.
Because if he's really up for chief, then I would ask that we go back to that office, spend
Yeah.
another week calling in exactly the same people and ask them their opinions on him being chief. Because this man just said he doesn't know what roles and what a captain does above him. He just said all of those things. He said he doesn't know what duties a majority of the department does. He doesn't know what standard operating procedures a majority of the department does. That is what this just man just said.
I think you misinterpreted him. He was pointing at the fact that they're undefined roles, which is the exact answer we got from two other officers during interviews. Is that
But he's also trying to
there
come
is no.
back into a department.
Yeah.
He's trying to come back into a department that he doesn't know how it's being run. So he needs a paper pusher below him to tell him how it's being run.
Wait, what's being run?
The LSPD, because he's in a whole different department.
It's important to consider the fact that him not being in a command role, he inherently would not have the information, right? Just as Ash, who's working closely with you, were to come in and she was asked questions about some of the details that we have discussed in the meeting room, she wouldn't have that information as it is not public. I think holding him as a non-option due to lacking information that he would not be privy to would be rather unfair. Now, look, should I have told Viv that she's the likely candidate? Look, that was a mistake. But I can sit here and ignore my deep-seated feelings that have been growing over the last couple days and say, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to go with the choice. It was the first one I made. And regardless of what the outcome is, so be it. Or alternatively, as more information comes in and my comfort level rises, I need to consider those options. If I ignore new information, what good am I? Now, am I ready to jump the gun and say this is the new chief? Absolutely not. Do I think we stick with Viv's choice and completely ignore that we've just in the last 2 days gotten information that, number one, we have one of the best officers moving to the marshals. Number two, recent concerns about Viv coming up. We just ignore that and just say go with it.
Have you spoken to Viv about those concerns?
I just got off the phone with her. So, now, here's the thing, right? Well, I mean, listen, you tell me, Eve. Should I not be concerned about this new information? Should we not consider the options? What do you think, Eve?
I don't know what the concerns are. I don't know what the scenario is.
Okay.
What's the new information?
Albert King is going to the marshals now.
I don't know who that is.
He's cop that frequent shift 1. New information includes having cops come in and being completely and absolutely uninterested in any high command role. I've never seen that before. Number 3, lack of interest in developing the LSPD. Number 4, very little plan of how to actually boost morale.
Okay, but
Number
can I stop you there?
5, Cornwood coming in
this...
yesterday, and long discussion I had with him yesterday evening, where he highlights some of the concerns about the enjoyment of being on duty that goes beyond, you know, patrolling the streets and writing the reports. And so I started to see a side of things that I hadn't previously. Now, is it true that everyone...
What do any of these concerns have to do with Viv in the present? She's not even chief of police yet. And Cornwood's concerns are none of your concerns because he isn't even LSPD, no?
What do you mean? Why would it not be my concern?
He's BCSO.
He still brings experience, and he was in the LSPD. BCSO is only like, what, 8 weeks old?
Still, I've heard you say, but that's not our problem multiple times when things like that in the north do occur. So why isn't this handled the same way? And I feel like that's Cornwood's issue because Cornwood was on Max's panel, and he could have solved these issues himself if he really wanted to.
I don't think Cornwood's opinion should be invalidated because he's in the BCSO and he hasn't been around for 3 weeks.
Okay, I agree, but I do not see how all of these
otherwise, we have to invalidate every opinion by every officer that is inherently not looking to become chief. We have to invalidate Den's opinion. We have to invalidate, you know, every single individual. Why would we invalidate Cornwood arbitrarily?
Okay, again, how does this equate to Viv?
What do you mean?
You bring up all these concerns about morale, about this and that, but how does it equate to Viv?
Vivian was a choice out of necessity due to the lack of options. even with Viv in place and conversations that we've had with her directly with everybody in the room, it was, she was told she needs to bring and set forward who is going to be her number two, who is going to be her foil. And in the last week, there has not been a single representative. The clearest answer that she has provided so far is Sky Faye in Shift 3. There is zero. There is going to be a gaping hole in Shift 2. And Peters is an option. Now, my question will become, right, and I want to highlight this once again, there has been no decision, which is why there's a conversation and why you were brought to not only discuss here, but spoke with Peters. So let's dial it back and say, all right, has a decision been made? No. Am I open to changing my mind? 1,000%. Who is going to be running Shift 2? That cannot be ignored.
But you're never going to clear all of the shifts. Am I correct?
I'm not going to what?
There's never going to be a choice where whoever is chosen is going to be available in all of the shifts.
No.
You have
correct.
You have somebody
let me
shift
re-ask the
one.
question. I think I wasn't clear. Vivian Gray is a Shift 1 chief of police, right? Let's say, hypothetically, the demand and requirement is that the assistant chief needs to be in Shift 2. Without having a member of high command there, that PD is gonna fail. This has been stated multiple times over the last 2 weeks. As of the hope was McNulty. He doesn't want the position. So then who fills the gap? That has been the missing piece. And that missing piece has not been filled and has been the root cause of my dooming the last 2-3 days. Now, we can just say, all right, let's just let the PD, solve that on their own accord. But that would be extremely negligent for me to do. That's why we brought up Jimbo. That's why Tilly was brought in Jimbo's name. But as we saw, that name was not, he had his faults. But, I think we saw ourselves that he wasn't ready. Nor did anyone actually want him.
I like Jimbo.
Yeah, I mean, he's good. I think
I thought he was
needs
ready.
more
I just
time
don't think
to
anybody wanted him.
bake, though.
I'm still very I know I'm still trying to understand how everything you've heard in the past 48 hours equates to it being Viv's problem.
I think
Can you give concrete examples of like why you changed your mind?
I think that
I'd like to know. Hold on.
Yeah.
That's like you saying that Tyler's ending up in BCSO was Viv's doing. Like everything you're telling
Wait,
me in
how?
the past 48 hours. No, but that's how I understand it. You're saying, Cornwood coming to you and saying that, there's an issue, and Albert King leaving Shift 1. All of these examples you're giving me, and I can equate that to somehow Peter's ending up in BCSO because he didn't like LSPD. All of this you're telling me is me trying to compute how you not choosing Viv is Viv's fault when she hasn't done anything
how is
yet.
any of that Viv's fault? I'm confused.
That's what I'm asking you, because you changed your mind in the past 48 hours because all these people came to you saying there's issues,
No,
And
no. I think you're misunderstanding. I think
that's what it sounds like.
yeah, I know, and I'm telling you, it's not.
Then how is Viv not the top
None
pick
of this
anymore?
is Viv's fault. Let's be clear about that.
Okay, then
I
explain
don't
to me how you went from her being top choice to
because she was the
not
only
considered.
choice. I'm gonna state this again. She was the only choice, and I think it's been rather clear that she has been the only choice.
Eve's confusion is because she's directly asking you what is wrong with Viv, and instead of answering it, you kind of bring up all of these other things like, Albert and these things
Yeah,
when she's asking this
right.
question, and she doesn't understand the
I don't think I
correlation.
realized how fucked this PD was, and I think the last, the deeper we go, do we at baseline agree that the LSPD is fucked?
Obviously, yes.
Right. And as I continue to dive deeper, that clarity becomes a lot more clear. Now, is Viv suited for the role? Absolutely. Was she the only choice? Yes. Is there another option on the table? Yes. Is after the days of cooking for her to come up with a plan, is there still a hole in shift 2? Yes. So do I go and say, you know what, let me ignore these other options and set Viv on a road to failure? I can't do that to her. Do I ignore the, the further information that I've gotten over the last 3 days? Do I just ignore it and say, well, I told Viv, in the blue, I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. You're going to be chief. Do I stick with that when I got an option? No, I think that'd be foolish.
So why don't you tell her just about the shift 2 problem? And
we spoke to her about that.
so you're not giving her the chance to fix it, but you want to preemptively fix it for her by not giving her the chance to do it?
How's she going to fix it?
The person she had as an option didn't want it.
How is she going to fix it?
Okay, how are you going to fix it? You
what do you
want
mean
to put
pairing
somebody
these
there
two?
with. You want to pair them, but
yes.
You want to make Peters the Barrack and her the Ruby.
We haven't made that decision yet.
Okay, but that's an option.
Yeah, 100%.
An option that we know fails.
As is Viv. How do we know it's going to fail?
Because we've had a Barrack and a Ruby and it's failed.
Okay, they are not Barrack and Ruby.
I see a Barrack and you literally called him Barrack.
Okay, right. But that now we're just listen. Let's get back to some semblance of using logic here. They're not Barrack and Ruby. I mean, now we're turning the conversation. Listen, Eve. Listen. Look. Let's cut the. Let's cut through this. I understand you're upset that I'm having a change of thought. I understand you got the feeling that I may have been hiding some things from the rest of the cabinet. I can understand that there is going to be some animosity between that, and I can apologize. However, let's dial it back to thinking about these options and not going into, hyperbole, because that's not going to advance this conversation.
I'm going to stop you, Nino. I can differentiate being upset and treating this with a professional manner. So I do not appreciate you saying that I'm getting any sort of emotional feeling with the situation. I can have a clear mind when addressing these things. So if we can move on from that, I would appreciate that as well.
Okay. So let's run it back. Why not Peters as chief and Viv as ass chief? Or flip it to Vivian as chief and Peters as the ass chief.
Real quick, I just want you to, I'm not sure if you're gathering the understanding of why the frustration I feel like is happening here. I think a lot of the frustration is just coming from we've done this entire week. We've done a lot of work in deciding the factor of like these interviews of who is going to be in that position, and kind of scouting of who we thought would be good in that position, and then kind of really randomly you were just like, well, here's Peters,
Yeah.
and now I want him here, and it hasn't really been like ever talked about, so it kind of feels like the last week or two has been very much
Yeah.
why, like, what do we do it for?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I asked if the situation was going to be reversed, if Peters was really considered as the chief. I would ask us to do the exact same and
Yeah.
have all those people come in again and just be fair to the process. That is exactly what I'm asking.
Yeah, and I think that's certainly something we got to consider. But here's the feedback I feel like I'm getting is he shouldn't be anywhere close to the LSPD, right? So even before we even go down those steps, I want to make sure you two are comfortable with it. And like I said, I hope you recognize that had I made this call myself, the conversation with you two that we're having now would not have happened. I would not have brought you down here to begin with.
I appreciate that, but me and Tilly aren't directly involved in the PD. Our feelings about the situation does not equate to the success of the PD. At the end of the day, if you choose Peters as the chief, I would accept it and just, deal with the consequences or the success of it.
I'm kind of confused here.
And deal with it. My worry is just that.
My problem is that this isn't very constructive.
In a sense, I'm just worried about our image, and I just do not want to go down the same route as what Max did. That's my only concern.
I have no idea what Max did, other than where is Max's relationship with this? And as for image, I mean, who gives a fuck about the image? We got when we got grinders on Twitter freaking out about tow pay going down. We got sanitation workers freaking out over material, but can't even collect a little bit of data. We got, Croc knocking on the door saying that he got fired inappropriately because he did a bunch of dumb shit. When we got Den who's saying, hey, we got to hire 40 individuals into the PD to, I think it's, image is valuable up to a degree, but ultimately we are the ones that make the decisions. And those decisions, regardless of what they are going to have a lot of pushback. I
agree. Nobody is ever going to be happy with anything you do.
Yeah.
That's just how life is.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but I feel like we have some sort of responsibility to at least not piss off literally everybody like Max did. I want to be better than that.
I don't know who could be pissed off, but I want to hear this. Who would be pissed off? Maybe there's an angle that I'm just not seeing it from Eve, and I want you to shed some light on that.
When I think of our position in the mayor's office, I think about every choice we can make, every path we can go down, and I think about
the only people that are going to be pissed from Nino's
pillars of where we stand. It would be the gangs, the PD, and then the civilians. And then you have to think about every
nobody
choice
knows
you make
about Viv other than
where you go from there. And every choice you make, somebody's going to be upset and people are going to be happy. I feel like when we make those decisions,
or Meta,
even though there might be hard decisions,
yeah,
some
like I said, the only people that know about
others.
Viv is
and does that mean that some decisions are going to be harder
bias
than others?
Meta.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this situation, I'm not too sure because, like I said, I would put my head down and accept if we make one of these choices above the others, either or. I just think that we might have a better outcome if we do the one over the other.
And what is
Wait,
that
wait,
outcome?
one or the other. Wait, just to be clear, like pick a chief and let them cook. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, as opposed to ensuring a pairing.
I mean, already feel like if we talk to Viv and already nudged her towards Peters, I feel like it would still be a good pairing. And it seems like Peters is already open for
Oh,
Viv already as
I
an ass
agree.
chief.
I agree. That's why I'm trying to like reel us back a little bit here, right? Because the discussion about like, are we going to talk to Viv? Are we going to push it? All those things are very relevant. I want to be. I want to re-outline this. No decision has been made. What I want to understand from you guys right in this moment is Peters a good choice? And then let's move on to the next. Because if you tell me right now, right, that Peters is an absolutely disastrous decision, and you convince me, then that option is off the table.
I don't think it's disastrous. I just see a lot of flaws.
Okay. I hope you understand, Eve. Look, I am not the best at expressing my internal thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
The closest that has heard it is probably Tilly, and it wasn't that Tilly got it because, you know, she's special or whatever. It's because she heard the blunt end of my... She asked me what is wrong, and I just ranted, right? So, and it wasn't even like ranting like I've been holding it in. It's like what was deep-seated in the back of my mind, and it's things that I was sort of trying to ignore as being a problem. Does that make sense? And in the same way, I feel like right now, you know, I want to hear what you're thinking. Like, I want to understand exactly where you're coming from, because I want to know exactly why it could be a problem, right? So I can understand.
The fact that I didn't ask questions, I was purely just observing because I was listening to his answers more so than adding on to things that could influence his answers. I was listening to the fact that, firstly, I already brought up all of my concerns. I already told you that
Bring in Kay for an
he's
interview.
in a whole other
Yeah.
department. He has no idea what's going on in the department that you want to make him chief of police of. That's a concern. He doesn't know a majority of the things that he should know. He's not been in a command position. Does that mean he shouldn't get a chance to be in a command position? No, not at all. I think everybody should have a fair chance in doing that. I agree with that. He should definitely be able to go into that position. He can probably take this time to learn. Is it the time for him to learn? I don't think so. I think that the LSPD is in such a shit place right now that it is not the time for somebody to come in to a place for them to come and learn the ropes. Would he be able to learn the ropes as chief? Yes. Would he be able to learn the ropes as chief of police when he's thrown into the deep end? No, because I do not think it's fair on the LSPD to do that to them. That is my opinion.
I think this is okay. Yeah. Look, I think there's a part of the equation that I should probably put out there. When there are 6 cops on duty, there is no LSPD. It's a roster of 150 people with 90% of them that don't show up. The LSPD is pretty much, probably, if you count on your fingers, 12 individuals. There is no PD. It's a fractured skeleton. And what ends up being developed over the next 3 months, ideally, becomes something with a little bit of meat on it. And I know that's going to sound savage as hell, but that's what the numbers show. There's 12 cops on duty this morning. 12. That's between both departments. So from the way, from where I'm sitting, it's, you know, I have to ask myself, who is LSPD? I don't think Barrick and, you know, Barrick's probably going to be out. Who knows what Ruby's fate is? Now, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's like, what is there even to begin with? It may fundamentally, regardless of who's leading it, is going to need to build something up.
I think that's evident, yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. PETA's getting put in place. That's going to feel a certain way. Undoubtedly. There is going to be that feeling of, hey, I've been doing this in the LSPD. I stuck around. Da-da-da-da-da. You know, I needed to be at the top. That's true. But that's only, you know, I think that's, you know, it would, to me, it would be the equivalent of someone from an old mayor's cabinet expecting that they should be the next one sitting at the top. Or similarly, you know, in any other, you know, organization. But I want to roll back to my original question, right? What about Peters? Because I want to talk constructively about him as to what your genuine thoughts are about it, and I want to deep dive into that. And to make it less about, because we showed a level of commitment with Viv, we need to stick with it.
So what do you want me to say about Peters? You want me to...
Yeah, like what are your thoughts? Pretend Viv isn't in the picture for a minute, right?
I'm going to say the things I already said. I don't think he has the experience. Or are you equating this to, because Viv is already high command or command, she had the opportunity to make a difference and she hasn't?
No. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just saying, what about Peters? Is it just is that his only fault? I mean, what about
if the I legit just think if the LSPD was in a different state, he would be a good fit to come into a department he has not been a part of for a month or two, and he'd be able to do a good job. I just don't think it's the time right now.
Okay. Anything else?
I think him already speaking on that he doesn't know much of the procedures and what he doesn't know about people's roles speaks volumes already. Like I said, he could learn, but I don't think the learning environment is coming into a department that is struggling.
Okay. And then, okay. What about his positions? How do you feel about them?
What about his positions?
Well, the various questions that Tilly asked, his how to deal with cases of escalation, his position on disciplinary action, his position on our policy that need to be enacted. I mean, we touched on a number of things. Is the rest of it good in your book?
I mean, it's everything that we're going. It's everything that we want to hear. I mean, I'm pretty sure Viv has the exact same things. It's everything that we want to hear. We want to see that. No. The question is he going to be able to do that? And we won't know that until he is put in that position. It's, again, actions over words. He might say all these things, but can he do it? We don't know yet.
Yeah, but I mean,
would we only know if he's given a chance? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What about you, Tilly? What did you like? What did you not dislike about his presentation?
There's a reason I'm being silent to this whole thing. I feel like me and you are very like-minded in what we're looking for the police department, and I don't really want this to be a 2v1 scenario because I think that it's already clear like what I enjoy and the things that I want. So I feel like this conversation should be a you and Eve one, just so it does not feel like 2-on-1. and that way you guys can clearly
Yeah,
get the
no,
opinions out from each
I
other.
don't think it needs to get to that either. However, at the same time, look, I want to hear what you thought was good and what you thought was bad. I think I want to start from a place of, you know, how was his presentation? Like, did you just agree with it? I mean, keep in mind, I didn't say a word during that. Nor did his presentation get influenced by mine. The only thing that I told him was, I want you to go make a presentation. He gave you the same one that he gave me this morning.
I think that I think his presentation was great. I think the way that he answered his questions was great. And honestly, he could have answered the questions any way that he could have, and it probably would have had the same outcome in my mind. I feel like the police department needs a certain kind of person right now, and I feel like I was of the same mind as Nino was before it was ever brought up to me, even the concerns, because Steve, have you ever worked at the police department?
No, I haven't, but my late father was chief of police.
Who's your late father?
Bass.
Oh, Lord. I didn't know that.
Oh, I forgot about that. Wait,
So
what?
I know a majority of the stuff that it takes to be chief of police.
Dude, this is so
And
spicy.
I know
I
chief
love
of
it.
police, at the end of the day, is just a punching bag as well.
Definitely just a punching bag, unfortunately. That's how it's gonna be.
I kind of want to do this just for the spice. But the thing is, from Nino's position,
like Tyler is
he needs to think,
right
what
now
is the
for
constructive
LSPD,
choice here, right?
Just due to
But
his
the impression
demeanor and
he's
what he
getting
can
is
bring
that
to
it's very
morale of the police
feelings-based.
department. While I enjoy Viv and I think that she will be great administration-wise, I think that Tyler is 100% what is necessary.
No. We're
and
not going to
needed
make that
for the
choice.
department.
But Nino's looking for actual constructive feedback. Otherwise, he would have never brought them here to begin
I don't
with.
think that Viv can give a certain, how do I say this?
And Nino does not mind stepping on toes when it ultimately comes to this, because it's rather clear what our input was.
There's no way really
from
to say
Nino's
it. I feel like
perspective.
there's a certain esque, we'll say, because I can't think of a word, that Tyler can give that Viv cannot. And it's not that there's anything wrong, and not that there's anything wrong with Viv. It's just, I think that he will have a better placement there for the morale of the entirety of the LSPD.
Why can't he do that as chief, Tilly? Like, you wanted Jumbo in that position, correct?
I did. I feel like as a whole, he will. I feel like as a whole, he will be able to handle the. I feel like Viv's gonna struggle being the chief of police. I feel like she will. I feel like she's going to get a lot of backlash that it will not be deserved. That will not be warranted for any reason, but she will get that regardless. And I feel like it will be very hard on her. I think if we have Tyler in that position, she will not face nearly the amount of repercussions that she would as chief. But I also feel like with her being so administrative heavy that I feel like she will be, I feel like having Tyler be the face of chief and having her be the ass chief might be just a little better all around. I feel like I'm not saying that right, and I apologize.
I think what you're saying, and I think this has kind of been my inherent concern, is that when the entire force of the criminal element in Shift 2, which is consisting of 4 separate, very volatile gangs that will make that have caused July 3rd to occur, that there's concern who is going to be able to blanket that force. And that, whether it's that's going to have to be whoever is in shift 2, whether they are the chief or whether they are the ass chief. Now, going back to sort of my original disposition of Viv as chief and Tyler as ass chief, that solves all the check boxes, including throwing Tyler in there to pad shift through from that disaster. Because at the end of it, the story doesn't end when we with whatever decision we make. That decision is part of this administration. Now, we are going to hold on to that choice. We are going to be responsible for not just what happens to the LSPD, but also responsible and held accountable by the entirety of the city. So, I think, I do think that we, you know, if we want to advance this, I think we need to talk to Viv about this, and see what her thoughts are on Tyler in general.
Also, that being said, though, I think that you giving Viv the idea that she was, and basically telling her that she was going to be chief just to kind of rip it apart from her, is very shitty. And I think that you need to think on decisions more before you throw that shit out like that, because this is going to be a really shitty conversation.
Wait, for what? Wait, say again?
For Viv. For telling Viv that she's going to be chief, and if she's not, kind of ripping it apart from her.
I've spoken to her about this. Some of you have been in the room. Keep in mind, I've been speaking to Viv beyond just that final conversation, right? It's been clear to her that, you know, none of this is finalized. It's been stated a number of times. So, in regards to Tyler being an ass chief, I think...
hold on.
Yeah.
Don't go there. Don't sit there and be like, she's well known that none of this is finalized.
She has.
You were in there with that office when you go, hey, you're going to be chief. Don't tell anybody yet, but
yes,
you're going to be there.
And the yes, but we've had follow-up conversations where I've clarified my position. Look, I never should have said it outright in that meeting to begin with, right? I want to make that very clear. But do I hold my fuck up to like, well, I fucked up, I guess she's chief? I'm not going to do that either.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that's why I want us to remember what our responsibility here is, right? Is that I will 1000% admit fault that when I said she was chief, it was not a feeling of excitement. I was fucking like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. Everyone else is complete dog shit. All right? Exasperated. Okay, you're chief. Now, because I fucked up, am I going to hold the entire city, like, you know, hostage to that? Like, you know, that just can't happen either. Right?
I'm not asking you to, you know, to stand on business.
Yeah.
You know, because you said it. I'm just saying for like future reference.
No, hopefully that doesn't happen again. Like I said, that's why I clarified with her afterwards that, look, here's the reality. Nothing is set in stone. Just get prepared for this, right? And it is not lost on me that, you know, Viv's likely been cooking for some time, right? It's not lost on me that if the decision were to flip, that she's going to feel like shit, right? But it cannot also be lost on me that, that the responsibility goes beyond us and beyond her. So I mean, look, I'm gonna be pretty blunt here about something as well. Is I think there has been on everybody in the administration, as well as some of the choices. I want to, you know what happened? I'm going to explain that there is another level of clarity that we need to maintain, and I'm going to explain what I mean by this as best as I can. I got off the phone with Vivian, and Miguel is decided to stir that Viv is chief over let's just say he made a rather educated guess. All right. And the entire PD is basing that conclusion on confirmation bias. All right. Now,
what are you telling us this for?
I am telling you this because there is zero reason any decision needs to be made in a speedy process. And if it does, I'd like to hear it.
What the hell did that have to do with anything you just said?
What I'm saying is that if we got to take time to cook and consider other options, we need to do so. If it's for the betterment of the city.
Take that, what you just said,
Okay.
and use it for yourself, okay? Before you sit there and tell fucking Mr. K and Viv that her ass is gonna be cheap. Okay, this is not. Listen.
He fucking guessed it. What do you mean? I never fucking told him.
No, you did tell him. He guessed it, and then you were like,
yeah,
yes.
What the fuck was I gonna say? Like a fucking, you know what I mean? Listen, we look.
Hold on.
Look,
you okay? You are. This is your first time as mayor, right? So you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like you've
here's the thing. Look, look. We can keep digging this hole, right? And like, do you want me to just pick Viv?
No, I don't want you to just pick Viv. I want you to be able. No, listen. I want you to be able to
stay on the road of constructiveness, right? And understand that, you know, there's other considerations I need to, you know, keep privy of. Now, we can go down this like, you know, oh my God, this and oh my God, that. But how is any of that constructive? Right? Like, do you guys feel that there's a pressure of us picking a chief sooner than later?
I think the longer we wait, the worse it gets for the PD, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Because rumors are starting, people are talking, probably false narratives are being spread, people are probably, you know, side-eyeing each other, you know, hostility is probably being formed amongst each other. Like, I don't know what is happening there. The quicker there's a leader, the quicker leadership can take place, and the quicker it can be shaped up.
Yeah. You're not wrong. I think my original plans went to shit. That's kind of the reality. Whether we remember it or whether I've pointed this out, that I had zero expectation to pick a chief for the first couple weeks. Barrack was intended to be operating for a month. And I had a outline for a plan, and all of that went to shit within the first 12 hours. Now, I am doing my best to try to short circuit it and make the best choice that I can with the lack of a plan. Like, you know what I mean? I need a plan individual. If I don't have one, we have problems. So, it's been 8 days. Should Tyler even be considered? And I think, Eve, from your perspective, he doesn't have the experience. Which I think is reasonable.
I'm saying the environment is not right for him right now.
Yeah.
Because of the state of LSPD. That is my opinion. I'm not
Okay.
saying he shouldn't be considered. I'm just saying it's not his time to learn. Because I don't think he has what it takes right now to fix the LSPD to what we want it to be.
All right. Do you believe that Viv is going to bring the... Is she going to be... Do you think Viv is going to be a beacon of desirability of joining the police force? Do you think she's going to be able to drive that?
I can't tell you that.
You've
I
seen
don't
her.
know.
You've spoken to her.
Yeah, but I haven't worked under her. I've only seen the opinions of other officers and other people, and I can tell you that they hold her in high regard, so I would lean to yes instead of no.
Okay. I feel like I'm looking at this from a more experienced fashion. The fact is that you need a Peters, otherwise you're not going to get...
And I also don't think it should be her job to make people wake up at the end of the day. That's on every other person.
I think that's kind of maybe where we're not seeing eye to eye. I sort of feel the opposite. Is, you know, like consider this, right? A lot of people that came through that office have talked about, they're not going to say it to us straight, but there's a reason why when Max was around, they were saying that numbers were pumped. Now, a big part of that was that, from my understanding, Max kind of allowed these guys to be super soldiers. And, when Cornwood, whether he's a diligent cop or not, does bring a presence with him. And I think that is a part of the consideration. Now, I want to be, once again, very clear that I think that you know, it's very similar to Bones. Like, look, Bones, every time I've seen Bones, that guy, to me, Cassidy is the one making a lot of it's the same with Barrick, actually. Barrick, Bones, Cornwood, these guys bring, like, the culture, the presence, right? But they also need to be tied to somebody that is, like, grounded in what is it? The administration side of things.
We can't look at the history books and ignore the fact that the most thriving times in the police department's history were when they had the best leaders.
When you say best, do you mean, like, what do you mean by that?
Most influential.
'Cause I don't know if you're
the leaders
like,
who were there.
Hmm.
I'm referring to the leaders of the people like the Kyle Preds and, you know, from history books, the Torettis.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. The charismatic, like, here is, when you think of it, You know, you're thinking like, where is the, you know, like, I mean, yeah, I think we're saying the same thing. So I'm of the personal opinion that we should consider, we should talk to Vivian and talk to her about Tyler and see what her thoughts are there. For the very same reason we brought up Jimbo to her. I mean, unless we have a general negativity towards, you know, Eve, I want to ask you this, right? Like, and look, if I listen, you've been around here longer than I have, all right? So there may be perspective I don't have. Are you concerned we're gonna, you know, are you more concerned with, do you think that Viv should make her choice for Ass Chief? Or do you think it's inappropriate for us to consider an Ass Chief for her, given, you know, like, you're not saying anything, so you're worrying me.
Do you want to micromanage the PD?
We have been.
I'm asking, do you want to?
I think we need to set them up for success. I wouldn't call that micromanaging.
I see picking the chief and Ass Chief, and your image is micromanaging it instead of them working the job every single day and knowing their own culture, their own environment.
Yeah.
Would be best, instead of you coming in, slapping your dick on the table, and then telling them what to do, is not setting them up for success.
Then why did the Constitution allow me to make a election and a replacement? It is inherently my job.
It says you could do it. It doesn't say you should do it.
Yeah. So I don't, you know, in the same breath, I mean, why pick the chief? Why not just go to Barrick and be like, hey, who do you want as your replacement?
Have you asked Barrick?
Well, no, I'm not going to do that because that'd be crazy.
I'm just saying, you're worried that people are not gonna, you know, want to come around if Viv is chief of police, but we're taking somebody from a completely different department who doesn't even
This is no longer constructive.
probably know half of the stuff that goes on in the
Unfortunately.
LSPD, and make that person chief of police, for example. I would still, if that is really a consideration, Nino, I beg of you to bring in all the people again and ask their opinion.
Yeah, no,
I
I absolutely agree with that. But like I said, so that is, so let me make sure I understand you properly. You're not against Peters. You are concerned that we need to get a better understanding of who he is before making any choice.
If you are worried that people are not going to see Viv as the morale cop, correct?
No, it's just not going to happen. Correct.
Okay.
Otherwise people, we've already
that
seen
is the only negative thing of Viv, correct?
No, there is no negative. Hold on.
Okay, I'm not saying it's inherently negative.
I do
I'm
not
just saying
want
that it's
to
a
make
downside.
it sound that way. We've said from the very beginning that Viv is great. She needs a foil. This has been said over and over and over and over again. That position has not changed. We have simply found a foil when there was none. It was going to be Jimbo, and that didn't work out. It was going to be Liam. That didn't work out. It was going to be McNulty. It didn't work out. Now there's an option. So the formula inherently has not changed.
I'm just saying, if we're bringing in somebody who doesn't even know the culture of the LSPD, even though there probably isn't a culture because it's dog shit, we all know that.
Yeah. I don't
And
believe the LSPD even exists. Like that's it's nothing. We lose half of them, it doesn't change anything.
I feel as if we're trying to create a culture with PETAs.
Yeah.
but again, we aren't there every single day. That is up to them to do. And that is then us trying to micromanage. And then that's why I'm asking, are we micromanaging the PD? Because I don't want to do that. I want them to create their own culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm asking, are we standing here trying to micromanage them and telling them exactly what to do? Because I think that is...
Yeah, but that's
that
not
is setting
that's
them
not
up for
inherently
failure.
micromanaging, right? Micromanaging would be setting the entire structure up, telling them exactly what to do. I mean, even
But
the
this is a
policy document,
start.
even the but what do you mean? What
I mean, us
I guess
thinking this hard about it is
Yeah.
the start of that.
I think when have we not talked about the ass chief? I mean, there's been a 2-week-old conversation. Why wasn't it a concern then?
Because I think we were pretty fine with just picking the chief of police and having faith that they would pick the right ass chief for the environment.
No, we've been talking about the ass chief from day one.
I'm pretty sure I asked you, and you said you're not going to pick the ass chief.
No, I mean, it's even in the COP document, and it was brought up on, I mean, it's still, the comment's still on there. It's waiting for the conversation today.
I feel
in
like
the policy
like the
document.
LSPD has been given plenty of chances to show that they can work for themselves and do the things without being micromanaged. And every single time that they've ever gotten that chance to not be micromanaged, they've just fucked it up. And I don't think that it's
Yeah.
wrong to be given the tools and shown how to do them, and then eventually they'll walk on their own. Because I don't think that sitting here it's going to be a forever thing of we're leading them to the success to be able to do the things that they need to do on their own. And I
Yeah,
feel like
but what
giving
do
them
we know
tools-
about that? I don't know a single thing about their procedures. I don't know a single thing about patrol. I don't know a single thing about it. What makes us more qualified than them?
Well, I certainly think my interactions with them, my criminal history, my interactions with them as a lawyer, the various conversations I've had with officers leading up to this, which is probably 80% of the conversations, which unfortunately y'all two weren't privy to for a number of reasons. Before the mayorship, during the mayorship, etc., etc. I mean, half of these people that are in the police force don't even know RS and PC, while we do, which inherently makes us more qualified. Like, I get what you're saying. I just maybe it's because like I see only a handful of those offices even being relevant in the grand scheme of things.
I have worked in the police department for a good while, so I have seen the procedures and how they work. They definitely know better than I do personally about how they work, but if what they're doing is working, why is it not?
Yeah, I get what you're saying though, right? Is that I guess it's two choices, right? It's here's how I look at it, and it's ultimately a choice of, do you take, you got a selection of sailboats, take the one you think is best, and then hope the sailboat just floats, right? But if you have a choice that you think there might be, another option on the table that might keep that thing floating a little bit better, that is in our hands. I know you don't like, it's pragmatic versus ideal. And I'm trying to think of it from a pragmatic perspective. Is, should things be a certain way where we just pick one and we're like, please do the best? That's ideal. But pragmatically, we pick one knowing that there's concerns, knowing how bad shift 2 can get, you know, I think ignoring that is you know, I just find that as negligent.
I'm not so much, I don't think it's in that way of how I'm thinking. I'm also thinking of it in a way of like, what do the other PD officers want as well? Like, what type of leadership are they going to want to look up to?
Mm.
That is what I am trying to get in my head. I'm trying to see if I was in their shoes, what would I be content with and what would I want to work with as a team?
So, but remember when I said originally, maybe we should let them vote? But then you said, I want you to pick them, Nino. Wouldn't the vote inherently vibe more with what you're saying? Because that's what I was contemplating. I was saying, put this option into their hands. And you were very adamant about me picking it. Because even I say, you're right. I actually more align with what you're saying right there. And if Viv is indeed the right choice, then they're going to vote for her anyways.
I still think after everything we've had, there's probably still going. I think didn't you want the city to vote?
No, no.
We're putting this up to a vote. That's what's gonna
No,
happen?
No. We were talking about what
we were
wanted to
we were
have.
on the way
okay,
here.
okay.
I was discussing some options, but I never got my full thoughts out because we got here and then, you know, we went.
No, I think initially you wanted the city to vote, no?
No, I was putting some
Okay.
options on the table.
No, because after hearing everybody, I'm pretty sure it would still
I don't
be
think
Viv
city
at the end of
voting
the
makes
day.
any sense.
No.
The city voting is just going to be rigged. I think we should put our best options up and have the PD have a bigger say. And really, that's what it comes down to. I do not want the LSPD to be set up for failure. The LSPD, as far as I'm concerned, does not consist of the individuals that are currently in it, but rather what it can become. And, you know, transparently, even if that means breaking Viv's heart, if that's the better option for the city and the future of the LSPD, the label, the institute, then, you know, I'm willing to go that far, right? I don't think it needs to come down to that. But, you know.
I don't agree on a vote.
I'd like to hear your thoughts.
I don't agree on a vote because I don't believe it should be a popularity contest on who becomes chief of police, and I feel like that's a decision that you should make yourself.
All right. Oh, fuck. Okay. Could I hear why? I'm not grounded in either opinion because, look, this whole Tyler thing is pretty fresh in my head, but let's
if
hear
you
it.
make the decision off of who's going to vote, they're going to vote for the people, not necessarily that, you know, would make the actual best choice. They're going to make the choice of the people who they enjoy, who they like, right? A lot of people know Viv in the LSPD, so of course she's going to get the vote regardless because a lot of people know her, they vote for her, they vouch for her. Even if they don't necessarily agree that she's the best vote, it's because that they know her, they recognize her face, and she's their friend. So she's going to get voted for. Are they voting because of the best decision? No, it's going to be a popularity contest. It's going to be who the popular person is that's going to end up winning. Not really necessarily based on the values or what they bring.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you think, Eve?
I'm either or for a vote or no at this point, if we're still so undecided about it. I feel like the people we talked about should, like we interviewed and talked to, should speak for itself. Not once was Peters a candidate. Sure, we didn't even have him as a runner because we didn't bring his name up, but at that point, would people not have brought his name up on their own at that point if he was considered?
Mm.
But a majority of the time, we didn't even bring Viv's name up and she was brought up on her own. Is that because she's liked? Maybe. Is that because they're friends with them? Maybe. But at that point, it's because they do respect her and they do like how she works and is a leader in her own.
Well, that
That's why
question
I'm
is-
asking. That's why I'm asking if we are really considering Peters as an option. Bring all those people back, do the same list again, throw Peters' name in there, and then see what their opinion is.
I think I don't think we need to bring all of them back because as a part of that conversation, it's pretty clear to me like whose opinion actually matters and whose opinion is pretty dog shit.
When we were asked about who, so when we did bring those people in the room and we asked them who they felt would be like the best chief of police, you can't tell me though we were not met almost every single time with a that's a hard choice. Let me think of who I think out of everybody would do a decent job, and they had to sit there and think about it because they couldn't actually give a name without having to pick somebody who
Tilly gets it.
you know was chosen out of a little
The
group of
issue
people.
is that there isn't really anybody. Like we know that. We know that it's not a question of there's so many
They're
options.
now they're getting to where
there just
I am.
isn't anybody at this
because
point. That's just
the thing Eve doesn't understand is I've cooked on this 10 times more than anybody
Viv
else.
or Nakoda. And a majority of them said Viv was the best out of those options. It's just
and
like
I think the
we
frustration
just don't
is
have people. That's just
I'm
the
way
reality.
further along in my thought process. Yep.
Everybody else is just not equipped for the position. That's just our reality.
Yep. Which is why, driving back to my original point, is we don't need to bring everybody. That everybody that started well before I even decided to run for mayor was because I was starting at square one. Keep in mind, going back to what I said, I've had significantly more conversations than both of you individually, right? And of the ones y'all have been a part of, right? Tilly is correct in saying that a lot of them didn't know, but a lot of those individuals, we don't even need to ask their opinion. For example, we're not bringing in Den, but we should see what Nakoda says. Do we bring in, what is her name? Dana? No. But we should bring in McNulty. I don't think we got to talk to that many people. It's like 3 folks. You know what I mean? Beyond that, like it's most of those opinions are rather irrelevant because they've probably been on duty for like 4 fucking weeks and, they can't even make a constructive decision regardless. I
think too a lot of people that we did bring though didn't they like you're right on the fact that they didn't bring up Tyler's, but they also didn't bring up Jimbo. We had to bring up Jimbo ourselves and be like, do you think that he would be a good one? Most of those people don't think that the BCSO is even an option when being asked that question. So they completely ignored anybody in the BCSO because they're like, they're not going to transfer.
I think that's fair because
I'm so glad
they
that
willingly left LSPD. So why would they want to come back?
Listen, when anyone says cooking too much, they're a retard non-role player. With all due respect,
PD, that's going to be heavily
most emotions are very OOC
LSPD
by chatters.
BCSO, and it's
ultimately
gonna not be too good on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's their opinion, no?
That's true.
There's no constructive reason to think that these sort of things should not be taken as
I would
role
also
play.
feel a certain way.
And having a feeling
hasn't been in my department.
A choice needs to be made. Don't RP is literally just treating the server like a
that's very valid.
GTA RP with funny voices, which is humorous to me.
Should we allow these people to be able to vote based on their grievances, though, for the fact that
That's
this
what
man
I've
did
realized
leave
recently.
to go to BCSO?
Yeah, anyone who says
BCSO.
overcooking,
I
they're
don't think
retard
we can-
mental.
We can stop that. No, we can't tell them to have that influence their vote.
It exposes the retardation, brother. Yep.
Would a vote even be necessary at that point? Because I feel like it would be very obvious.
Yeah, this is a
what the
very
end answer would
productive
be.
conversation. Yeah. I fucking love this spice. Mmm. All right. God fucking damn it. Why the hell is it an odd decision to begin with? Why? Why is it the mayor's choice? I don't fucking know. At the end of the fucking day, we end up picking a fucking mayor, and we're either gonna get ass blasted by the PD or the entire citizenry. Just burn the entire fucking thing to the fucking ground.
Might as well.
I mean, personally, if I'm gonna be honest, PD should fucking suffer. I hope they go to shit. They can start selling fucking
Nino.
guns again.
Nino,
Oh my
stop.
lord.
Look, I want to shit PD so I have something to complain about.
You always have something. You're always
I don't know why
bitching.
the fuck
I
is
never
it
hear
my
you not
choice.
bitch.
I just don't understand why I got to be making the choice.
Write a legislation that
Because-
says you don't have to.
And then what?
I don't know. Let the gods make the decision. Throw it into that. Throw the piece of paper into the air and see where the wind takes it.
Honestly, we should just make Sab the fucking...
Shut the fuck up.
He applied. What do you mean?
No, you
Well, so and here's like the wrapping that I want to take off the table, and maybe I'm very much an agent of chaos, right? But we can pick a civilian to be the chief of police. I want to, I want to zoom out a bit. We have that choice there, and maybe that's kind of, I think we've been focused so much in, I'm just speaking my mind here, right? Is that even myself, I have focused so much in on what does the PD want? What do these 6 cops that show up on duty want, right? And what do they care? What is this? What is that? The reality is the entire government fucking rewrote everything so we could put a civilian in place, all of which would never have any ability to answer a lot of these things, and so having that broader mind and perspective of what could be is not bad, and maybe that's where I'm coming to this realization with Peters is maybe I do want, like, deep down I have just hated what we have right now, and I want something different, and that is my personal bias speaking, right? Just transparently.
I'm about to go to my dad's grave and resurrect him.
Okay.
Just bring Sab. It's the same shit.
Is this necessary?
I'm kidding. I'm sorry,
all right,
Eva, all
is
right?
this necessary?
But with all due respect, that motherfucker, your dad, killed my fucking cat.
That pussy deserved it.
Literally.
Meow Furion?
He was a snitch.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
The whole guild will tell you he was a snitch.
Okay, I know what they told me, but I saw what happened to him. But you gonna blame fucking Meowfurion because he got mentally tortured and cracked? That's like, you know, like breaking someone's legs and then, you know, they run over your foot with their wheelchair and be like, oh, it was their fault. You know what I mean? Well, what about the circumstances that led up to it?
Yeah. I know what happened. He was a snitch.
Okay. Well, shit. Who isn't? All right. All right, listen. Eve, I'm sorry I kept you out of the loop. It wasn't my intention, all right? But I've been struggling. I'm going to keep you more in the loop going forward if I'm freaking out.
I don't care about that. I just don't like that, you know.
But I do.
You said you were sitting on this for like 5 days, and then, you know, and I thought it was a done deal, and then you spring this on me.
I know, that's why I did it. Look, Tilly can tell you, all right? I wasn't even outright with her. These are internal thoughts.
I'm very pushy when it comes to getting people to tell me things. I apologize.
I don't tell people what I'm thinking. I don't. I deal with it internally.
Yeah, and then you're like one of those people who say, yeah, I'm fine, and then you let it boil over, and then you just
and then
explode.
I fucking kill them. I kill my problems away, Eve.
That's not healthy.
It is. It is fucking healthy.
No, it's not.
Okay. When's the last time we had an Archie incident?
Well, Archie's dead, so.
Exactly. That's my point. Miles Landon?
Well,
remember all the problems?
Coffee over him.
Yeah, but do you remember all the problems he used to give Roosters rest? Then remember the problems went away? What happened to him? I fucking caused him to overdose. So, you know, I'm just not, you know, used to having solved problems this way.
You say you're gonna kill yourself?
No, because I'm fucking God.
Are we not letting the power get to you? We're not letting the power get to you.
I've had the power.
Nino. No.
I got pulled up on, and I said, "Go ahead, take me."
Look,
I already know who I am.
I don't know what's going on.
I think he's gotten too much fresh air at this point.
I told you. I don't know what's been going on with them. It's like 2 days now.
You're just listen. Nothing has changed. With all due respect, y'all are just getting seeing a side of me. Tilly, absolutely, but even Eve, I've kept you in the dark on some things. All right. Like, it's part of how I operate. I always is. I've never been this fucking open. You know, in the fucking past, all right, someone even questioned me, you'd be in a fucking ocean right now.
I know how you are, you know?
Yeah. So, like, you know, give me a fucking break a little bit.
You're like an old man reminiscing on his...
Not a fucking old man!
Oh my... Okay, for fuck's sake, Lord. Oh my God. Sorry I said anything.
Jesus.
Still have food, Tilly?
All right. With everything said, I think Viv...
Don't you ever fucking yell at me like that again, Nino.
I will fucking...
Don't you ever
I will strangle you right now and hide your body in that fucking observatory.
You just relive your old days, old man. I swear to God. You sit there and remember when I used to do this, before I used to sell guns.
Okay,
I was
yeah, you don't use TikTok.
Gun sellers.
How does that, like, what? You're trying to act like a Zuma, all right? But the fact of the matter is, like...
He asked me what my favorite TikTok sound was.
Yeah, because there's like 5 of them. Like, it's a very... For anyone who uses TikTok, they know what that means. Because every single fucking video has the same fucking 5 songs that people just rinse and repeat. It's like on YouTube, you know, like okay, maybe not. I'm not going to use that guy. you know, let's say there's, oh my God, who's popular other than the name that will not be used due to recent incidents? Fucking, I don't know what's popping off on YouTube nowadays. It's like Logan Paul. Logan Paul will make a fucking video, and then there'll be 5 other videos that are similar to it. All right, but on TikTok, all right, it's like there'll be one video, and then for the next month, it's the same fucking song for like thousands of videos.
You call it the TikToks, you know.
Okay, what do you call them? What do you refer to as multiple fucking TikTok videos?
I am saying that you're a fucking boomer.
They're literally called TikToks. I think
call them the TikToks.
Listen, look, just because you're not like in touch with like the internet world, all right? You know, you're exposing yourself. They're called TikToks. No one says TikTok videos.
No one asked me what my favorite TikTok sound is.
Because no one's had a conversation with you about TikTok before. How's that on me?
I'm sure. Okay, all right. You're right. You know what? You're young. You're young. You know what the TikToks are, Nino. You're a young hip man, right? Back in your day, they didn't even have TikTok. Didn't even know what that was. Okay, you had to go.
My generation fucking made.
You had
TikTok,
to go to the
right?
library. You had to go to the library.
Well, it won't fucking matter anyways, because it's gonna get fucking banned in 6 months. All right.
I'm just saying, you know, get.
Look, I'm gonna play a TikTok. Watch it be. Oh, hold on. First video that pops up. All right, hold on. Let me see. Oh, wait a minute. I am so fucking stupid. I don't actually use TikTok.
And he doesn't.
You know, it's so funny. I just realized I don't actually use TikTok. What am I saying? I watch YouTube Shorts. TikTok is dog shit. Wait. You made me
the other day.
No, I know, but then I just had this like immediate realization, like as I was pulling it up, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't actually watch TikToks because every time you put it on TikTok now, it's like people's dog shit like live stream, or it's like these they added this thing where I switch between them, right? Like I'll throw on TikTok, I'll get bored, I'm like, okay, this feed sucks, and then I'll throw on YouTube Shorts, and then I'll watch that, and then even like Twitter has it, but YouTube Shorts are significantly better. It's YouTube Shorts that have the same fucking songs. In fact, I think more people probably watch YouTube Shorts now than TikTok. TikTok is fucking garbage. Like,
the only people I've ever met that watch YouTube Shorts TikTok, are over 40. Just saying.
Okay. All right, listen. You're just not, you just don't get it, all right? But anyways, to finish the thought, every fucking 5th TikTok is a automatic cat litter box. I'm just saying, like, talk about a fucking dog shit algorithm.
God, you're so young, Nino.
I'm not saying I'm young. I'm just saying I'm connected.
Times.
All right.
So connected.
All right. Look. All right, listen. In regards to Peters, I think we talked to a couple cops about it and then see how it is. All right. I may have been very dramatic on him being the next chief, and maybe I might have put a little bit too much sauce on it, all right? That's why I want to talk to you too, all right? And that's why I've wanted you in the administration, because I know myself, if it was just me, I would have straight up made Peters the chief because I like the spice, all right? But because I know myself, that's why I wanted you to, all right? And I need you guys to keep me honest, because I will promise you, I don't give a fuck about this mayorship or the PD's feelings or Viv, all right, or anything. It's just the fact of the matter. So, you are my balance to my, you know, my suck my dick syndrome, all right?
I feel like I am not the balance.
I will always challenge Nino.
Yeah. I think you're going to do it anyways. I haven't seen the side of you, Eve, all right?
I always called Lang out on his bullshit.
That's because Lang always talks bullshit. What do you mean?
Not always. Sometimes he means well.
Yeah, I know.
And he actually has a good plan, but a majority of the time
I think we bring Lang.
Bullshit. Lang doesn't. I don't even think Lang knows who Peters is.
Yeah, but then, you know, he can hear the situation. What about Mr. K?
Mr. K doesn't like Viv, so of course he's gonna be like, yeah, Peters. So no, I do not think Mr. K is a good option.
Wait, hold on. Is Mr. K more likely to shoot Viv or more likely to shoot Peters?
I think every option is going to be they are more likely to shoot Peters in every situation.
All right.
I don't see Viv pissing off anybody in that regard.
Yeah, no,
he threw a dead animal on my porch as I watched from the house next door. Why he did it, I don't know. If Jaeger was at home, he would have gotten shot. If Bjorn was at home, he would have gotten skinned.
Dude, this is so much fun.
Why he did it, I don't know. I don't know why he fucks with the guild. He does it because he's bored, question mark? I don't see Viv getting shot over going to throw dead animals on people's porches.
Yeah. I think the more we've talked about it, and this is... I'm more realizing that Peters is probably not the best chief option. But I do think I am very... committed to him being ass chief. Because I think Viv is someone that will need to find a way to put a leash on him. Because he probably will take a shit in the middle of the street, in the middle of a shootout. But at the same time, I just cannot remove this, like, hole in myself, like this feeling of without someone like a Peters in Shift 2, that LSPD is gonna survive, because I would have been significantly more open to the idea of a choice if Viv had come and said there was an option. And I don't fault her for it. Just as much as there's been trouble with us finding a chief, there's just nobody, right? So where the fuck is she going to find somebody, you know?
So
and it might be considered a little micromanagey, but that's okay. I'm okay with that.
I'll go back on that. I think him being ass chief would be the perfect time for him to learn. Right, in a good command position. I think this would be the perfect time for him to learn and restructure it alongside Viv.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of where I was originally. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was a bit of a stir by me saying he'd chief because I wanted to see you guys cook a little bit.
I hate you. I hate you so fucking much.
Okay, look, there's intelligence behind this. All right. I may do things that may not make any sense, but it's...
No, I knew you were doing this.
Doing what part?
But I can't tell when you're like on that line though. Like I know you're doing it, but I can't tell like to a point where you're actually being serious or not.
So
I still know you're doing it.
It's not so much of a stir as much as unless you believe he's an option for chief, it's harder. Okay, this is like a weird, like, okay, listen, you know I'm a sociopath, right? So, by making you believe he's an option for chief, it makes you critically think about him in the most powerful position. And if alternatively, if I said ass chief, it's harder, I think, it's harder generically to get a response of critical thinking. You kind of see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I don't think these conversations would have come out as much as they would have if I was like, hey, what about him as a number 2? We would have treated it like the Jimbo conversation where it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. We can just put the bozo in there. But plus, it removes that option because I agree. I think he might do Sanguine 2.0. But we need to make sure Viv is comfortable with it.
I think she would be.
Yeah.
Especially if we tell her what our vision is for the PD and our concerns. And if she has an actual plan to...
There you go, chat. You enjoy that?
Tackle those concerns. And our plan is more viable. And she's willing to try it out more so than hers, then I think that it is...
Oh, see, I just do it for the uptick of viewers.
Because I think she's very understanding.
And because, like, I really don't want to do anything. I'd rather sit in a circle
and
just
she might challenge it, which I think you like. So we'll get there when we get there, right?
Yeah. I don't want to review any legislation. Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Okay. I do feel kind of bad for Abilene. And okay, I need to talk about something that is very important, and I need your opinions on this.
Okay.
I like Trav for Chief Sign DPD and never really got to do shit back in the day.
And this kind of goes hand in hand with the the feeling out of the loop kind of thing, right? Look, at the end of the day, there's levels of trust, right? Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, right? We have the cabinet, everyone's got their roles, etc., etc. However, there's a reason why I want to talk to you two, because this is sensitive enough of a conversation. While I think that Michael, Abilene, Archibald, their opinion is valuable, I transparently value your opinion on this matter more than the rest. So I may get some bite for that, but I don't transparently give a shit because I think I need to make those distinctions. Am I wrong in thinking that?
No, because in a sense of if I had to put roles on it, right? Tilly is like chief of staff, and I'm like, in a sense, deputy mayor, and the rest are just valuable people who add to the cabinet, right? If I had to put roles to it, right?
Well, why? Wait, how did you promote yourself?
I'm just.
In that
I'm not
example?
promoting myself. I'm not promoting myself. I'm just saying how I would see it if I had to give roles to it.
Yeah.
And why more opinions matter to more things, right? That's how I see it. I'm not promoting myself. I'm just saying that's how I would see it in terms of a level of respect and a level of my opinions matter more than somebody else's.
Yeah, and obviously I've known you two for a significant... Eve, I've known you forever, right? Tilly, you know, I just have trust. Only because we spend a lot of time together talking about these things when everyone's asleep and whatever, right? Now, I do not know how to... I am so used to doing things in a way where it's... I mean, Miles Landon, right? Or whoever it may be. It's gonna happen this way, and that's it, right? Obviously, this is a significantly different environment, and I need to be considerate of the rest of the folks. But I do not know how to make sure they understand they are appreciated for what they bring, but it is not necessarily... This is not necessarily a conversation for them to be a part of. For various reasons, right? Time in the city, experience in those... You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nor do I...
Well,
everyone else in the cabinet, correct.
Oh.
there's two parts, right? One is I personally cannot have these sort of like in detail conversations with more than 3 people personally.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Exactly. It makes my synapses overfire due to ADHD or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But the second layer to this is they're just inherently, objectively, they don't have enough experience to put anything forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
and not really necessary either.
yeah, but you get what I'm saying. But like, my concern is, what do they at this moment feel left out, right? So I think. Well, I get okay. 2-part questions.
I don't think that's
Number one, should we let them know this in advance of? Okay, my fear is we had a meeting set up, right? And this is an example. Do we need to tell them this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if they already are like, what the fuck are they doing right now? And then we come back and we're like, yo, by the way, we had this huge conversation. You know what I'm saying? We just pretend.
that meeting was for legislation, no?
Yeah.
And I think I put that down what the meeting was for, so I don't think it's necessary to be like, oh, we had like this huge conversation. I mean, you know, we could be like, we had to speak upon some things, but I mean, it's not really necessarily on you if they feel left out. You know what I mean? Like,
I think managing the cabinet does fall on me.
yeah, but
I mean, we don't have
maybe-
an HR.
Oh, like a so that would have been better if we had like a person who could take what you're saying and just bluntly say, well, I'm not here to spare your feelings.
No, that's what I would say. I need someone to wait.
Oh,
No, I need the opposite.
Oh, to make
no.
it better.
Yeah, exactly. Just to let them understand so they don't feel left out. And you know, there is going to be a point in time where, okay, like, yeah, okay. Can I give you an example? This is awful. Oh my God, I hate giving this example, but it happened to me. A long time ago, there was a very grand conversation. All right. And it had to do with a decision that needed to be made. And I had that conversation with my brothers. But, some people felt left out. And it wasn't intended to be. It was just like they weren't part of the fucking decision-making process. And, it spun into something. So and it hasn't happened once. It's happened a couple times. I've seen it over and over again. Right? I'm concerned that, like, be it Abby, be it Archibald, I don't think Michael's got his head on, is that I do want to preempt making sure that they understand, they don't end up getting bitter and we don't hear about it. And then 4 weeks from now, they, crash out. Am I wrong to think this? Am I overthinking things?
No, it's fair.
I feel like some people, I feel like Yamiro can, not everybody has, like Abby for whatnot, definitely legislation meetings she should be a part of, and like other meetings, you know what I mean? But does everybody in your cabinet need to be a part of every single meeting that you have?
Every day to day, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm saying with it.
I think it would help if the roles were defined of what everybody is doing, and then when you're having meetings, Tilly would see what that person wants to talk about, and if it has to do with legislation, the relevant people are in the room for it. And if you see necessary, Nino, for those people to be in the room, those people are in the room. If they're not, then they're just informed of it otherwise, and then a conversation can be had. Nobody has to be in their room all hours of the day. If it's business related, I'll be there. If it's not, then it is what it is. I can have business meetings, without you as well. And we can talk about it later. Everybody should feel empowered to do that on their own time as well. And then we come together as a team after that too. But I don't feel like people should feel, what's the word? Entitled to be there for every single meeting either. Like I'm okay to miss a majority of the meetings,
Yeah.
but I want to know when it's business related, so I'm up to date when it has to do with my department, for example.
I think maybe I'm more concerned with Abilene, and it's sort of the social cues I've picked up from her, be it the Tilly incident, even though I tease you about that, Tilly. I think she also told me yesterday she was bored, and I have noticed her kind of stick her nose up a little bit when she isn't involved in something, and I feel like she feels like she might be missing out at times, when the reality of the matter is she is very valuable, but, you know, she... You know, so someone needs to have a honest conversation with her. That is not me. I think that's what it is.
Okay, but then you have to ask the question, I guess, is Abilene under the impression that you guys are like hanging out and are quote unquote besties outside of office hours, right? Is that what I'm picking up? Like, is that what she's under the impression for?
I think it's important for someone to have a chat with her on that subject, perhaps.
I think it's because of all the G6 runs.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, listen, Tilly, we're going to hang out. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean we need to bring the entire fucking office, you know?
I think she was under the impression that that's...
Well, that's why someone's got to talk to her.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's not going to be Tilly and it's not going to be you, so I guess it's me.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, okay. That's where we're going with this. Perfect.
Okay, that's crazy.
Thanks, Eve.
That's crazy.
It's fucked up, Nino.
Look, it's
That's
not
so
fucked up.
crazy.